Disneyland announced 3 special after-hours events that will take place this year at the park. The first of these events was Sweethearts Night. We went, had a great time, and covered all the rare characters that came out to greet guests. The second event was Villains Night, which took place at California Adventure. Again, there were so many rare characters out and about, and some of them hadn't ever been in the US parks before and made their debuts during the event. So let's take a look at some of the rarest characters that came out during Disney's Villains Night.
Fastpass facts.
Bowler Hat Guy. Meet the Robinsons is one of the most underrated Disney movies, with some fantastic characters that had to come to Disney parks. The first time these characters appeared in the parks was back in 2007 at the Magic of Disney Animation in the Animation Courtyard at Disney's Hollywood Studios. They frequently met with guests there, but because the movie was not a success, they were quickly replaced by Remy and Emile from Ratatouille. In 2008, these characters were taken to Toon Studio at Walt Disney Studios Park in Disneyland Paris, where they also met with guests. Then in 2012, they were there for Disneyland Paris's Halloween celebration, and in 2013, for the Disney Dreamers Everywhere event. As we can see, these characters have appeared frequently at Disneyland Paris, but in 2014, Disney decided to kick off the summer with a special 24-hour event at the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, and the Rock Your Disney Side event at Disneyland. Bowler Hat Guy made some appearances at Tomorrowland during both of these events. He then came back that same year during the Villains Unleashed event, where he appeared along with 50 other villains. Bowler Hat Guy can still be found in the Boo to You parade during Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. And now he came over to Disneyland for Villains Night. Apparently, he is much more loved than we realize because people loved Salco's Bowler Hat Guy costume. There was also a pretty long line to meet him, and the interactions with this character were so fun. The Hag. The Hag is one of the scariest Disney characters ever, and one of the rarest to see at the parks. Of course, we all know she appears on every Fantasmic show, but she hasn't appeared much at Disney parks as a walk-around character. The Hag is one of the few characters to appear as both a face character and an atmosphere character. In the US parks, she appears as an atmosphere character, and at Disneyland Paris, she's a face character. She used to do regular meet and greets at Villains Lair in Disneyland's Fantasyland. Villains Lair was located where the Castle Holiday Shop is today, but this space served as a meet and greet for Disney villains for a while. When it closed, the Hag appeared walking through Fantasyland. She has also appeared during Halloween time at Walt Disney World, specifically at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. But that's not always the case, and nowadays it's very rare to see her. At Disneyland Paris, her appearances are more frequent. She appears during Halloween time, also at the town square, and because she is a face character here, appearances are more fun. She came back to the Disneyland Resort during Villains Night at Grizzly Peak. She was carrying a basket full of apples and trying to give us a poison apple when we met her. Yzma.
Pull the lever, Kronk.
Kuzco, Yzma, and Kronk are some of the most fun Disney characters.
Can I order the potatoes as a side dish?
I'll have to charge you full price.
Hey, how about a side of potatoes, my buddy?
You got it. We want cheese on those potatoes.
Thank you, Kronk. Cheddar will be fine.
Cheddar spuds coming up.
Spuds, yes. Cheese, no.
Hold the cheese.
No, I want the cheese.
Cheese it is.
Cheese, me no likey.
Cheese out.
Cheese in.
Oh, come on, make up your mind.
Okay. On second thought, make my potatoes a salad.
So it's pretty sad that we don't get to see them much at Disney parks. They used to have a special meet and greet where you would enter Kuzco's throne room and meet all 3 of them, but it sadly didn't last long.
No! You threw off my groove!
I'm sorry, but you've thrown off the Emperor's groove.
These 3 characters also appear at special events and shows. In the Disney Dreamer show at Disneyland Paris, Kuzco appeared in both his human and his llama forms. During this part of the show, Yzma turned Kuzco into a llama, and Mickey, Chip, and Dale try to help him become a human again. They finally succeed, and Kuzco gets back to his human form. Kronk also appeared at the Disney Villains Halloween celebration parade at Disneyland Paris. And both Kronk and Yzma appear at the Villains Tonight show at select Disney Cruise Line sailings. But during this show, they are both face characters and don't wear any masks. Now, Yzma graced us with her royal presence for the first time at a US park during Villains Night. She is so fun to meet, and we can only hope that she comes back very soon. Maleficent, live action. Maleficent is ruthless, dark, and devious and will do whatever it takes to achieve her evil goals. But she is also soft-spoken, proper, and elegant. She is the leader of all Disney villains and usually appears as an antagonist in many shows, parades, video games, and movies. And because of this, she makes regular appearances at Disney parks. From seeing her turn into a dragon in Fantasmic to helping the Sanderson sisters conjure up more villains, Maleficent always wows us. But while we have seen Maleficent countless times at the park, we can't say the same for her live-action version. She has only appeared once or twice before and always at special events. She first appeared at the Rock Your Disney Side event in 2014, where as a promotion for the upcoming movie, a private meet and greet was held for some lucky guests. Guests at the park were handpicked to see her. Now, she's back. She walked around the park and met with guests in Buena Vista Street. She looked terrific, and we would love to see her again sometime. King Leonidas. In the early 1960s, Disney acquired the rights to produce a movie based on the Magic Bedknob books from Mary Norton. But when they were able to get the rights for Mary Poppins, the project was postponed because of the similarities between these two. Mary Poppins came out and was a huge success, and in 1971, Bedknobs and Broomsticks was released, starring Angela Lansbury and David Tomlinson. The movie tells the story of a witch apprentice who had to take in 3 siblings in her house because of a war. She wants to end the war, so they all start an adventure to find Professor Emilius Brown and then cast a spell that can help them win the war. One of the best scenes in the movie is when the gang visits the Isle of Nabubu. Even though people are not allowed in this animal-run isle, the king, King Leonidas, invites the professor to be a referee in a soccer match that he is playing, and it all ends in chaos. This is a really fun movie, and if you haven't seen it, you should. When the movie came out, King Leonidas appeared at the parks as a meet and greet, and then when the Main Street Electrical Parade debuted in 1972, he was part of the parade along with Dumbo and other characters. As time passed, this float was retired, but when the Electrical Parade came to DCA back in 2001, King Leonidas' float returned. He was then retired from the parade, but he returned for a special meet and greet at Walt Disney World. Now, he appeared at Villains Nite, and he even has the ball with him that they played soccer with. It was great seeing him at the event. He appeared at Paradise Gardens Park. We would love to be able to see him more. Yokai. Perhaps Yokai is one of the most complicated Disney villains. He is a man motivated by revenge and is one of the few villains who have shown remorse for his actions. But on the other hand, he is one of the only 4 villains actually to kill off a major character in his respective film. On December 31st, 2015, he appeared for the first time ever during a private event. He then appeared again in 2017 with Hero during the announcement of the park's Fan Days event. And later that year, he was one of the many Disney villains to appear during the Halloween Soiree event in the Disney Villains Halloween Celebration Parade. Then in 2018, he was one of the walk-around characters that appeared at the Disneyland Paris day-long Fan Days event in the Heroes and Villains Alley, along with Hero. On October 31st, Yokai had his own live stage show called Yokai's Revenge. This show was in the style of kabuki theater and played for just one day. In this show, Yokai used laser projections as blades and practiced using them with 2 other henchmen. He is then confronted by the Big Hero 6 gang, and he succeeds in encasing Wasabi, Go-Go, Fred, and Honey Lemon in laser fields. And when the pair are preparing to fight, Baymax arrives, and Yokai flees the scene. This show was super cool, and the way they used the laser projections was spectacular. Now Yokai appeared for the first time at a US park during Villains Nite, where we could see him on San Francisco Street. Edgar Balthazar. Edgar is one of the less evil Disney villains. We can even empathize with him a little. After all, who wouldn't be disappointed to learn that after so many years of loyalty, he would be completely passed over from Madame Adelaide's cats? Of course, he didn't make the best decisions when learning this, but thankfully, he was not evil to kill Duchess and her kittens. The Aristocats characters have appeared lots of times in the parks. Marie, Toulouse, and Berlois appear in many parades and even have meet and greets with guests. But Edgar had never appeared before 2018, when Disneyland Paris had its first Disney Loves Jazz event. This amazing event features multiple renowned jazz artists in concert at the parks, access to rides, and special meet and greets. One of these meet and greets is Edgar. Guests attending the event were able to meet Edgar at the Ratatouille Miniland in Toon Studio at Walt Disney Studios Park. Edgar stood waiting for guests next to the cat's basket and is trunk to Timbuktu. The event took place in September 2018 and again in June 2019. Well, now Edgar came over to the US for the first time. He is such a fun character to meet, and it was amazing to be able to see him during the event. He can be found in Hollywoodland. Big Bad Wolf. Back when Disneyland opened, Practical Pig, Fiddler Pig, Pfeiffer Pig, and the Big Bad Wolf had to be there. After all, this short had won the 1934 Academy Award for Best Animated Short Film of 1933, and it is still considered to be the most successful animated short ever made. The characters appeared for a long while, but as time went by, they were less and less important for guests visiting the parks, so they stopped appearing as much. They became regulars in Disneyland's version of Fantasmic from 1992 to 1994, riding the Mark Twain riverboat until they were replaced by newer characters. They've appeared in many parades, like the Tokyo Disneyland Electrical Parade Dreamlights, or the special 2019 and 2021 Lunar Year events at California Adventure. But it's pretty tricky to find them strolling about at the parks. They made a special appearance at the Long Lost Friends Week, and also at the DVC Moonlight Magic event at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. They also come out to play sometimes in World Bazaar and Toontown at Tokyo Disneyland. The Big Bad Wolf is so fun to meet, and we were lucky to spend some time with him during Villains Night. He is such a funny character, and the interaction with him is fantastic. You can find him at Silly Symphony Swings in Paradise Gardens. Lotso. We could consider Lotso as one of the most ruthless villains in the Pixar universe. He is selfish, sadistic, and worst of all, he's double-faced. But we can't deny that Lotso could be a somewhat exciting character, so it's not strange that Disney had to bring him to the parks. In May of 2010, Lotso made his park debut, appearing for the first time at Disney's Hollywood Studios at a special meet and greet in the Magic of Disney animation area, and also as part of the Block Party Bash Parade. He also made his debut in Disney's California Adventure at the Pixar Play Parade. Lotso has appeared in various events and parades, such as the Pixar Pals Countdown to Fun. Lotso has had appearances in almost every Disney park, but his appearances are not as frequent as they were 10 years ago. That doesn't mean that he is entirely retired though, so Lotso could be considered a semi-rare character. Seeing him during Villains Night was a great surprise. During the event, Lotso was meeting guests at Pixar Pier in the Pixar Promenade area. Guests saw Lotso in his most pleasant and cute facet, and he could be seen sending kisses, greetings, and in a happy and friendly mood. Suspicious, right? Loki. Loki has become a huge fan favorite character to meet. He appears regularly at Avengers Campus in California Adventure, but guests could find him in Hollywoodland before the land opened. The coolest thing about Avengers Campus is that it is very character heavy. And not only that, but the characters change and appear according to their movie or Disney Plus series appearances. For example, we got to see Shang-Chi and Death Dealer appear when their movie came out. We also saw the Eternals back in November, we saw Natasha wearing her white costume before Black Widow was even released, and Zombie Cat back in October during the Oogie Boogie Bash event. Loki was one of these characters, but the best part of his appearance was that he changed costumes each week when a new episode of the series dropped. When the series was released, he appeared dressed in his prison garb, as he was captured by the TVA. Then he wore his variant jacket. We also saw him as President Loki. Now he appears wearing his usual attire, and that's the way he appeared during Villains Night. Chef Louis. Chef Louis isn't really a villain if you think about it. He was just a chef who wanted to get dinner done and had trouble with one of his crabs. But that doesn't mean he wasn't a villain as far as Sebastian was concerned. After all, he did try to cook him. Still, most of the time, Chef Louis is thought of as a villain. But he is passionate about his job and loves cooking for the people of the palace. And maybe that's why we don't get to see him as much as we would like around the parks. Of course, everyone needs a break every now and then, so he does make some appearances. He can sometimes be seen walking around Mermaid Lagoon at Tokyo Disney Sea. Other than that, there haven't been many appearances from Louis at the parks. So it was great seeing him at the event. He appeared at Paradise Gardens Park. We would love to be able to see him more. Jafar. Jafar is one of the most popular Disney villains, so you can say that this narcissistic Grand Vizier seems to have managed to manipulate the masses with his Cobra staff to become one of the favorites within the Disney parks. One of Jafar's first appearances at the parks was in 1992 at MGM Studios, now known as Disney's Hollywood Studios. He appeared in the Aladdin's Royal Caravan Parade. This was the first parade to be based on a single Disney movie. From then on, Jafar has remained constantly in the Disney parks and parades and shows, among which stand out Fantasmic in Walt Disney World, where he even appears as a giant cobra. Jafar has also been a constant in Disneyland Paris, where he has appeared in various parades. Interestingly, this character has also appeared in the form of a face character in shows like Disney's Aladdin, a musical spectacular at Disney's California Adventure, or Villains Tonight at the Disney Cruises. Jafar is not considered rare, but it is rare to find him in California Adventure, especially with Iago. On this occasion, Jafar appeared together with Iago on the main esplanade in Carthy Circle. Jafar's meet and greets are considered to be some of the most exciting encounters at Disney parks. It is recommended that when you interact with Jafar, you tell him that you are on his side and not with a street rat, and show him that it is an honor to meet him. He likes to feel powerful and important. So the next, Prince John and the Sheriff. We have covered both of these characters a lot. They have become much more frequent at the parks. They make regular appearances at the World Bazaar in Tokyo Disneyland. They sometimes appear during Halloween time at Disneyland, Walt Disney World, and Disneyland Paris. In 2013, they took part in the Long Lost Friends Week at the Magic Kingdom. That same year, they were featured alongside other Disney villains in Unleash the Villains, and returned for the event the following year. They have also been meeting guests at other special events, like the 2017 Winter AP Days at Disneyland, or the Disneyland Paris Annual Pass Holder Party this past September 17th, where 100 characters were featured. They appeared at Oogie Boogie Bash back in 2019 and 2021. Now they're back for Villains Night, and you can see them near Russian River Outfitters and Grizzly Peak. There were so many other fun things to do during this event. The photo ops were so fun, the Underworld dance party with Pain and Panic was amazing, there was also a fun karaoke area at Pacific Wharf, and you definitely can't miss the Bald Mountain nightclub. We can't wait to see what Star Wars Night has in store for us.